Mackies. I hope you're well, you're rested and stuff. Like, I hope y'all are like really in a good space emotionally, physically, materialistically, everything Kali. So yeah, man, I'm back with like my second video. So please do be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share, all of that. So a few weeks ago, I asked you guys to, I put up on my Instagram, actually that was sometime last year, if not early this year, like around Jan. I asked you all to like, get to ask me a few questions for a get to know me tag. But child, the questions that you'll asked, like they're very deep. I feel like they literally have nothing to do with me, and it's basically just about navigating life, and that's what this channel is about, right? So I suppose this is still kind of like a get to know me tag, but kind of like, I don't know, man, you're like too pretty deep, man. You're like pretty deep, a bit too deep for. Naturally, now you're not too deep for my liking. You're like, I like you like that. I like you like that. So, I wrote the questions down because I'm currently using like one device to record, capture everything. So it's literally just one device. And I have a reference, which is the Holy Book, for some of the questions that you'll asked to like just give more clarity, if I can put it like that. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first question says, why was the apple chosen as the forbidden fruit of all fruits? Nowhere in the Bible does it say it was the apple. I know that we've been told the story about Eve having ate the apple and given it to Adam to eat as well and all that, but it's actually the tree of wisdom or knowledge, something like that. So for reference sake and for context, I'm going to refer to the Bible, and this is in Genesis chapter 3, and it says, "Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord had made. He said to the woman, 'Did God really say you must not eat from the tree in the garden, from any of the tree in the garden?' The woman said to the serpent, 'We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die.' 'You will not certainly die,' the serpent said to the woman, 'for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened.'" That's like the difference between good and evil, not the tree of knowledge, wisdom, and all that. "And you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Then the husband and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, "Who are you?" He answered. "Where are you?" He answered. "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And he said, "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is it? What is this you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals." I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it yourself. Anyway, the main thing is the only fruit that is mentioned in this chapter is a fig. And not even necessarily the fruit itself, but rather the leaves thereof. So that's like literally the only fruit that is mentioned. Nowhere does it say it is an apple. But if you have other resources, I would suggest that you like, please show me, I want to know. but like nowhere does it say the apple. So I'm not buying the whole apple story unless I should probably ask my guardians, probably ask my parents and get clarity on that. But nowhere does it talk about the apple, because it wouldn't make sense personally to still eat apples if they're the reason we kind of live in a fallen world. Do you take? Anyway, let's not get too deep on that because this already is deep. But it doesn't say anything. Yes, a fruit is mentioned, but also when you think about it on a deeper context, I think there's like there's like a lot of things that could have caused this, or rather this could be this could be a metaphor for a few things, and some I think either I'm just really overthinking it, but it's kind of giving me really they ate a fruit, like it was a literal fruit, or it was the forbidden fruit, of which still the forbidden fruit and actual fruit, but then in sociological terms, or according to our societal standards, we all know what the forbidden fruit is. So I don't think I want to get like too deep into that like that, but I don't think it was an apple. If you know any better, please do like inform me in the comment section. I want to know. I stand to be corrected on this, but it was not an apple, so therefore I cannot really answer the question why the apple was chosen as the forbidden fruit. I do not know why it was chosen as that. Cool. So the second question was, if judgment is for God, why do people judge? This is such a funny question. Like when you look at it and you're like, oh my word, and we really do be judging people, eh? So I think that the reason we people judge is because we're made in the image of God, right? And because of that, we have God-like characteristics. We have God-like personalities. I don't know, but like something about us is just very God-like. Even though most of us or some of us aren't necessarily living godly lives, but we still have God qualities or God-like qualities because we are made in His image. So for some reason, because we are actually judgmental, which also brings me to my second point. I was watching a Christian YouTuber's video. I will probably link it in the description down below, so be sure to like check that out. It'll probably give you more context on this, why people judge. But apparently judgment can only come, you can righteously judge a person because you cannot remove the log from your own eye. It's that kind of story. We're all familiar with that, for a training or something like that. So I think that would like answer your question clearly, because my main thing is just that we have godlike tendencies, hence we tend to judge. And sometimes we tend to judge because we are also kind of like in a position where we kind of fear doing what the other person is doing because they kind of like just have the courage to do that and we don't, so we kind of like stagnant more than anything. And yeah, there's kind of like a lot of reasons. You're asking like very broad questions, and I like that because it also kind of like creates room for thought. It creates room for dialogue as well, so that's really cool. Do you think it is easier to be loved or to love someone? I think it's actually easier to be loved. I don't know, man. Do I think it's easier to love or be loved? I think it's easier to be loved. No, but like for me, dog, like I feel like I often find like it's very easy for me to love people and appreciate people and actually tell them, yo, thank you, I appreciate you, I love you. So I don't know if it's easier to be loved or to love someone, but I actually do think that it's actually quite easier to be loved, because once you're loved, then you kind of know how to reciprocate that, or the person has already set the standard of what love is, and therefore you're now in a position where you're able to reciprocate that energy. So that kind of like enables you to love as well. And also I think it very much depends on the context in which we're speaking about or we're talking about. And if it's like from a romantic point of view, I think it would be easier to be loved, especially when we consider genders. As a female person, I think it would be easier for me to be loved because that is what a man ought to do. That is one of their purposes in life, is to love their partners, their female partners, as as Christ loved the church. And a woman's job is to like respect their male partner. So depends on context. If it's just from a maternal or a parental point of view, I think it would be easier for the parent to love than for the kid to love the parent. But it's of course it takes bonding. So basically you're kind of like teaching your kid to love you because of how you'll go be bonding and stuff like that. So I think it's a very interesting. Most of the questions you asked are like actually very interesting and could create conversation, like get different perspectives on this. So if you would like that, let me know, and we'll probably do this for the podcast and we'll discuss that. It will still be on YouTube as well, so you can relax. And also the podcast is not the main reason we started this YouTube thing, so that we can have a viewing audience and a listening audience. So that's pretty cool. Love that. And then, oh, okay, cool. Someone just asked, I will always notify you guys when I go live on Instagram. And I recently haven't been on Instagram. I haven't been that active. Basically because I don't know, my app has been acting up. So y'all, I suppose, can donate for a phone, donate for a camera or something. I don't know what y'all want to do, but like, it would be really nice if y'all were to do that. You know, sometimes in life, you kind of realize that you're one of those people that actually give and don't receive. And it's so weird because once I noticed that, now I'm in a position where I kind of receive, and it's not always easy. It's like, oh my God, that is so thoughtful of you. That is so kind and thoughtful of you. Thank you so much. But you still kind of like feel weird because you're used to giving and not receiving. That's kind of weird. It's different. It's different. It's not weird. It's different. And obviously if you're not accustomed to something, or if you're not used to something, you kind of like need to like take time to like familiarize yourself with that, get acquainted with the feeling, like just be comfortable that, oh, okay, this is actually happening. I'm no longer just in a position where I actually do be the one giving stuff to people. So that's kind of like, ooh. Anyway. And then someone asked, would you put your happiness over family ties? Yes, and yes. I would put my own happiness over family ties. You know why? Because we all have our lives to live. And I feel like this is something a lot of people don't get. We all have our lives to live. And I cannot always constantly be putting one person or someone before myself, because in order for me, I know that altruism is a thing, but I always need to put, well, not even if not always, but most times I need to put myself first so that I can be able to pour into your cup. Because how will I be able to pour into your cup when mine is empty? Because basically then I'm kind of like, I'm not even being useful to you. I'm not radiating any positive energy. So what good am I to you if I cannot serve myself, if I cannot love myself, if I cannot accept myself, if I do not have room for myself? So I don't think that we should constantly be forcing family ties, forcing good family relationships. Like sometimes it's okay to know that, oh, I'm related to that person, we're family, but we don't need to speak. And for me, I feel like it's such a big issue, and because it's something that I've been facing a lot, and I have dealt with, still am dealing with, still going through some of that, and it's with like various family members. But it's just, you cannot, I don't know, but like it just doesn't make sense to constantly try to have a relationship with a person and acknowledge that you are this to me and I would love to form a relationship with you, but it is not being reciprocated. and it is emotionally draining. It is really taxing. It is emotionally taxing. And at the end of the day, you just don't have time to appreciate the other people around you. And that is so good, because the people that actually be to giving you love, you cannot reciprocate that, because your energy is focused on this one person that is treating you really badly, or that is not reciprocating anything, or that is not even literally putting in efforts. But at the end of the day, you also need to come to a position or a point when you know that, you know what, it's cool. It really is cool. Probably it's meant to be that way. And I'm okay with that. That does not mean now I have anything against you or anything. It's okay. We're relatives. Let's stay that way. And sometimes, like, it's really weird, you guys. Like, it's really weird. So yes, I would put family ties, I would put my own happiness over family ties, because we all have our own lives to live, and there's only so much we can do. There's still other people we are kind of living for, even if we say we're living for ourselves. There are other people we still need to look after. There are other people we are inspiring. There's still other people that we like just need to pour into their cup and actually give back to them. Sorry. What keeps you happy during your worst days? Yo, dog. What keeps me happy during my worst days is knowing that I'm not alone, is knowing that God is with me, and it's knowing that through the midst of darkness, light shall prevail. Knowing that it's not forever, and although sometimes you're just having a bad day, and that bad day is probably just for 5 hours, I know it feels like the longest life. So just knowing that through the midst of darkness, light definitely will prevail is what really just keeps me grounded. It keeps me happy, and it keeps me going. And knowing that I'm actually destined for greatness, and I'm in a passage. Okay, so this is an analogy my mom used. Like when, like you literally, she was making an example with our house, right? So it's my room, and then it's the passage, and then it's the living room, and then it's the bathroom, and then it's the kitchen, and then finally her room. So she was like, you see, when you come out of your room, you're immediately in the passage, and then before you can get to the kitchen or to my room. So what happens when you're in the passage is you're in a process. You're in a process where you're dealing with whatever you're dealing. You need to first go through that passage to finally get to the kitchen or to get to my room. And that's like, I think that's just when now I'm faced with difficulties, or I'm kind of unhappy or sad, I'm just like, you know what, I'm in the passage, I'm still going through this, I need to go through this so that I can reach that point. So because I know that I am destined to greatness, and I know that sometimes life really does get difficult. So just knowing that this is not where I am meant to be, and I am still going where I need to be, I'm just not there yet, and I still need to put in effort and hard work to get there. And sometimes even that hard work, it's like, is it worth it? But at the end of the day, you know that you cannot still be living under the current circumstances that you're living under. So yeah, that's what keeps me happy when I'm sad, or my worst days. And then final question is, what am I studying? Okay, I'm kind of bummed that I'm not studying humanities, but okay, cool. I am doing my BA degree second year. I'm doing my Bachelor of Arts degree in ethics, sociology, and psychology. And that is pretty much all. Those were all the questions that you guys asked. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, share, hit the notification button, and most importantly, comment, engage with me. Let's talk about this. The next video will probably be another book review, so I hope y'all gonna look forward to that. Otherwise, I'm sending you much love and light.